Mini Matters, a miniature painting podcast.
Alright guys, we have just come home from Golden Demon. I guess day 3, but for us all of us day 1, except for you.
It's
Day 1?
Yeah.
But it's not, if you've been there since Thursday, it's not day 1.
Oh, right. I wondered what you were saying. I guess day 3.
Day 3.
Right.
But yeah, because you came, but had you seen any entries already?
There was a handful in each cabinet on Thursday. Yeah.
On Thursday already.
Yeah.
And what day is it today?
Saturday.
So, so we've all been to Golden Demon, and basically I just wanted to talk about experiences, fun, thoughts. There's no particular goal or end point. It's just 5 proper lads in a room talking about Warhammer, yeah? I'm Jamie Hutber.
Albert Moreto fan.
Toni Garcia.
Lionel.
Arnau Lazaro.
Yeah. So just in case people don't know, if I was clever, I could post our names above our heads, but we're not going to do that.
That would be great.
That would be amazing. And then when you moved your head, it would move with you.
Exactly.
I can't do that. I'm not that good. So my thoughts, I can start the conversation off. I thought, I kind of now we're obviously officially affiliated with Games Workshop, but I don't want to select them too. No, I thought it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I was saying in the car, I felt like it was there was a slight air, it had a different feeling from the last 4 Golden Demons that I've been to. There was a buzz around it. And before Golden Demon, I'm not saying there wasn't a buzz, but it was much more
there was a lot of hype around it, right?
Monotone almost. Yeah. If this was stereo, a lot of hype before, but then when you're in there, I think maybe because it was just one thing in the Warhammer Fest, you had other stuff to do, right? Whereas here it was you're in the room, you're talking with people while you're looking at the models, or you're in the 35-year celebration thing.
That cabinet was
beautiful, right?
I wish it had not been in the other room, but in the same room. Because some people don't know, I don't think.
Exactly.
Because originally on Thursday and Friday, I understand that they were in the main hall, right?
They were, yeah.
But then they moved it out.
They moved it out.
Because
All
they
the
ran out of
35
space.
cabinets with all the
The 35-year celebration thing was also in the main hall.
I think that is a place that has to be.
Yeah, it sucks.
There was only 3 cabinets at that point, so obviously as more entrants came in, they've had to move it out.
I'll be honest, the highlight for me was the Avatar from 1999. Seriously.
No one cares about it.
I saw that and honestly my heart stopped. I was like, holy
But you had already
I've never seen it. No, I've never seen that model in real life. They didn't have it when I came.
Okay.
I think all those cabinets they were quality, and obviously more entries came in to it. More Slayer Swords, more Golden Demons.
Uh-huh.
That was nice.
Well, they got all the special miniatures that there were covers or classic artworks and all of that just in front of the cover, and it was also beautiful, but was very impressive to see all that classic entries that have been winning Golden Demons, Layer Ward and all of that.
It was funny seeing the Soper, it's David Soper, is it?
The original tank, you mean?
The original tank that I've seen in the magazines, but seeing it in real life, when you're times have changed.
With the real gems.
Yeah.
The diamond.
Yeah, but the gems from the child's play, the old fashioned, it's a funny model, man. And that was the Slayer sword in
1990.
Was it 1990?
Yeah.
1990.
1990.
Shows how long he's been painting.
Yeah, crazy.
I was
almost
and
as old as me.
I was 3 years.
I was talking with I was talking to Chris Clayton, and he was wearing a T-shirt with Golden Demon 87.
87.
And he told me I haven't worn this T-shirt since I was 14.
Shit. Wow. So he had it then?
He had it then.
That is
fair play
nuts.
that he still fits into it as well.
Yeah.
Or when he was 14 he was
So he's 50 now or something.
Yeah.
On the main room, when you enter to Warhammer World, there were
but not that one, the T-shirt that they gave back in
the original one, but I didn't know that when 1987 was the first one.
Yeah, it was.
It was our year.
Same, our year, yeah.
Exactly.
One of the worst years.
We are as old as Golden Demon.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally, right?
Or the other way around.
They created it for us.
See, one thing I wanted to discuss, Jamie and I, ironically, haven't had much of a chance to look at the cabinets today. We're going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You guys have. What's your general opinions on the quality of the entries, the calibre that's there this year?
I mean, the quality is obviously greater than other
You've been to the last.
I mean, the last edition in 2019 was obviously good, but not near as good as this one. I mean, the step up is
it's like really noticeable.
Yeah.
Like it's like a clear like. I feel like you could look in the cabinets before and kind of have a rough idea and be like, that will place, will place, and here you're like, ooh, and I don't know.
And then you make another round, and they just bring new entries, and it's like, okay, now this one is going to place, and it was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they only stopped accepting entries at 2 p.m., right?
Yeah.
So it was from 2, actually, that we knew the whole...
no more would come in.
Exactly.
And some of the cabinets, they are just taking out the miniatures to huge, so
because
if you don't even can make
exactly.
a round.
40k single where I entered, half of the time that we were there, my model wasn't there.
Yeah.
So they were judging it for that long.
Judging or taking pictures, I don't know what they were doing, but it wasn't there for
Yeah.
super long.
Yeah.
That's my lifetime achievement was I reached today, where I came back and my model had a sticker on it.
It did, right?
The photo sticker.
Which was the...
I don't know, but green
I don't
maybe?
know, but green is commended or something.
Green and blue. They were green and blue.
Both of them?
And I nearly wet myself.
No, green is made at the first cut, so you've got a final spin.
Yeah.
Blue is photographed.
There you go.
Yellow is fragile. Red is take a closer look.
They can take as close a look as they want, baby. No, seriously, like every year I've been like, why didn't they take a photo of my 1999 inspired model? You know, that's clearly the best model in the whole competition.
And yellow was?
Fragile.
Yeah, if it falls apart.
Yeah, if you...
To
be fair, when I entered the models, she asked the lady, is it fragile? And I said, well, it's better to say it is, because otherwise they would yes it is, and they put the yellow.
Is it fragile? And they pick it up and it doesn't move at all, they're like that.
Exactly, it's not okay to the case.
Why wouldn't everyone say it is fragile to make to show that they take extra care, right?
Well, there was a lot of them that maybe with duels or
to be fair, it's kind of fragile,
dioramas or whatever. When
really
was one model holded by a little cable.
Yeah, a cable.
Or whatever, and every time people touch the cabinet or they open the doors, you have a lot of models like
They need 2 yellow stickers.
Exactly.
This really is fragile. Here's
well, hold on, we got Arnau as he was explaining.
No, I mean, I was...
No, the level was exactly super high.
In a really good, positive way though, like...
And not only in this way, but I think it was Aiden, the guy who judged, the heavy metal painter who judged Golden Demon in America. Yeah, he was mentioning that it was from the time when they removed all the gaming base restrictions that there used to be. Models have to be placed on the regular, that it was from then that more creativity has began to be seen.
And it makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. Because you're restricted to this tiny little... But when they did that a while ago, though, like 3 Golden Demons ago, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Just 3 Golden Demons ago.
Yeah, but that's like 5 years,
I think it's when Max started taking up the lead in judging. Because before that it was Joe Tomaszewski and Darren Latham and so on being the guys, and that's when Max was entering the open category, right?
Oh, okay.
With that barbarian and with the chains and all, and then as he became the main guy judging, I think that's about the time when they removed the restrictions on bases, and that brought about a lot of...
Because in all the other cases, obviously in open you could still do it, but then all the other categories you have to...
Exactly, right? And I mean, if it's like a 25 mil side base, it's so limited what you can do with that.
You used to have the small base and they would build this huge thing on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. You could go around the room anyway, so...
But in many ways that's probably made it easier for them, because we happened to be by the Lord of the Rings cabinet as they made the commended decisions, which they started judging this evening.
Yeah, I saw that. They had 10, didn't they?
And it's one of the most competitive categories. Like you can't.
It's hilarious because before we were saying it's the worst category quality-wise because not many people want to paint a smaller scale.
Yeah, but
the entries were
really good.
Were strong.
But everything that's hit commended has all got an altered or an amended or a scenic base. All the ones that haven't made commended, although fantastically painted, are on the traditional base that it comes with. So they're using that now to separate and make judging easier.
It must be subconscious though as well from the judges, because a small base you can't paint that big a picture. Whereas when they start doing it, I think even if they're not officially saying, on a small base, blah blah blah, that's not as good as the other ones. I think when they just pick up, it's like an art form, it becomes a whole story, doesn't it?
It's more dedicated.
Yeah.
If you had the time to do the base, you had the time to paint it better.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I think this was a very obvious. Sorry, no, but in relation to this whole creativity having been brought into Golden Demon, you could tell because there were so many new ideas that you would definitely not have seen, like that 3D forced perspective.
I really need to see that one. Like, I'm so excited.
Some years ago, you would not have seen that. Lots of backdrops as well, which also you never saw before.
Really great bases like Clayton's and
Chris Clayton, he's won loads, right?
Yeah, he's got plenty of demons.
If I had my website.
Well, I mean, as I said, his first competition was the very first one in '87. So imagine that.
In terms of standout pieces, because obviously we're saying we can't separate it; it's very difficult. Are there any standout pieces for you? Chris Clayton's piece is coming up a lot.
Yeah.
What was it? Is it the dragon and the giant?
It's the giant. A duo.
Yeah.
It is, and that's definitely the one that stands out the most for me.
But is it because of its size?
I think it's the
everything, complexity,
the dynamism.
4 years. Is this the 4 year?
The problem with duo. What's that again?
Is this the 4 year one? There was a 4
No, that's
year.
David Soper.
That's David Soper.
No, unrelated. The thing with duel is that it happens often that people will just place two miniatures in a fighting pose in front of each other, but the interaction doesn't go beyond that.
Yes,
it's only like one guy in a pose and then the other guy in a pose, but at the end of the day, they're separate miniatures, right? But this duel that we are speaking about by Chris, it's basically a giant grabbing a Hydra by the neck.
Chopped off one.
And with the other hand, he chopped off one of the other heads. So it's so well connected.
The tail of the Hydra was
the tail
around
of the Hydra
the neck of the giant. So both models are like.
It's
the
so well
giant
integrated.
is hitting him, but also the Hydra is getting him from the leg.
Who's gonna win?
The integration between the two, it's just so well done. And then it's obviously the water effects that he did on the base. They're absolutely phenomenal.
They're
really freaking
cool.
well done.
So
I mean, that's awesome.
It's so easy to mess it up doing something with resin. It's
maybe it's not so much with the painting per se that I find that piece amazing, but the engineering behind producing that piece, and then the painting is fantastic as well. A very different style from what we're used to seeing.
It's more historical or something. Or
not so much historical.
It's not pictorial. It's representative of what skin is. Like if you see in the light is very very bad maybe in that corner, but if you see there's one hand that it's not under the light directly. So you can see the paint job better, and it looks like skin. It looks soft. It's like because
realism.
Instead of painting the highlights in the traditional way that we do, he will just do it satin directly, kind of.
He's representing the materials, not the lights and shadows. And he does that very well.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's totally different.
And also when you do this kind of paintings in large models like these two. I think it works also better.
Yeah, of course.
Because you only need the natural light to create that shadows that you normally
in a small
models you have to paint that shadows.
So that was a standout for sure.
I think for me as well, I know it's silly saying this because everybody who puts their entry in has put a level of care in, but you can tell there's love and care that's been put into that piece.
Yes.
All the way through.
It's like a passion project. As well as like
beautiful in every aspect.
And the finishes, they're so perfect. The base looks machined almost. It
looks like glass.
Exactly. It's fantastic.
Like water, then, like real water.
And the waves. The thing is,
I've not seen it.
Yeah, it's just brilliant.
It's very funny because the light that comes from the bulb hits the water and makes these waves underneath the water, like it was
water.
real, and the sun is hitting it's really amazing.
Because I'm super interested then in the past I've heard people say that the judges say that Golden Demon is a painting competition and always emphasise the painting, and they were like, you don't get marks for conversions or etc etc. Like for example in 2019 I don't remember the painter, but it was the power fist and the bolt pistol like that, right? It won. Was it open or was it single? 40k fantasy, right?
The Blood Angel.
Yeah.
The classical one.
Yeah. But that was like extremely crisply painted and very Games Workshop, and that placed like gold or silver or whatever. But So like,
Darren, I think, no?
Yeah.
Was it Darren? Okay, yeah.
I think it was also there in the cabinet of the 35 years.
And then in the same category, you had like things like this thing. So I'm interested to see if this year, but then like 2 years before that, Land won with that, you know, the
Nagash there.
yeah, like, and that's super converted, super like
I think
atmospherical.
No matter, my honest opinion is that no matter how much judges say that conversions and so on
comes into it, right?
I think it's very difficult to dissociate your judgment and just
because
really
at
only
the end is the piece.
the piece.
Yeah, but then there's quite a few winnings where it's like the model's not converted at all. It's just painted, and they're placing above ones that are really well.
I think it depends on the category. I think dual diorama and maybe open lends itself better to conversions.
Yeah, well,
where the lack of purity of the model is probably going to go in your favour. They want to see that ingenuity. Maybe in the singles, the squads, they're more likely to want to see the pure model in its purest aspect.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And you would,
By what are you saying? I think that, for example, the vehicle from David Soper, the Nurgle tank, that is fully converted, almost fully sculpted. I was thinking that was going to be into open category.
Yeah.
Because I think it's
so heavily converted.
Exactly. Yeah. But at the end, there is no place where they told you that it's very heavily converted. You have to put it in open. Yeah.
If it's a vehicle, it's a vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. But it's totally different to anything that is a product directly from the box.
Does anyone know how many different things are in there? Because I was trying to work out where the pieces are from. So I know they did that corn thing, right, with the belly, and he was like a...
It's the Plagueburst crawler, the tank.
Exactly.
The Nurgle tank. It's the wheels for the...
Are the Plagueburst crawler?
Yeah, the Nurgle tank.
Chimenea?
Do you know the one I'm talking about, the corn guy?
Yeah, but it's not that.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know, but no.
First time when I saw finish it, I think maybe with that big body, head and arms, it could fit better into the wheels of the... I don't know what is the name, but the corn big robot.
We're talking about this.
Skull Crusher or something like this, yes.
That design crap.
But he has on his back like these chimeneas or...
chimneys.
So it's a massively heavily...
This is an scenery set from the Death Guard. Also, one of the arms is from the Mauler fin from Chaos Space Marines, and the body is from the Great Unclean One. And also there is a lot of converted.
The old metal one. It's not the metal.
The new one.
No, the new one, the plastic one. Yeah.
I think I've seen it. But yeah. Okay.
And a lot of sculpt, of course.
Yeah. So it's a marvel but in a different way, I guess. It's heavily converted. It's seamless. And
I love to see this kind of models. To be honest, I really like.
And that was 4 years.
And all of that.
It's almost like an updated version of his original Nurgle Predator that's in
35.
Well, that's the whole idea behind it.
Okay.
Smart guy then.
No accident.
And so he's been painting for 4 years, waiting for this 35-year anniversary.
No, actually, I think it was for his 30 anniversary of
Sopers
of the tank.
Right.
Ah.
But it was COVID.
Yeah.
So it's
it got postponed.
I think it was like that.
Yeah, it was.
Homage.
Talking about heavily converted models, for example, in single Age of Sigmar miniature, there was two. The Fat Pestilence Skaven.
Yeah, by Johan Little.
I've not seen it.
It was super nice, built with the body of one of the Nurgle warband from the Warhammer Underworlds, and also the Ogre from Cursed City, from Mike McVeigh, I think it was, with the little building model, behind him, all the rats on the buses.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Super crazy.
Yeah, so I've not seen his entry yet.
It left me quite impressed because he only started painting after a hiatus of 15 years or something.
Yeah, you told me
and in only 2 or 3 months, he made that piece, and it's really beautiful.
Because he posted.
It's a classic style, but it's beautifully done. And
I think this.
But does it leave you? I know what you say. After 15 years, he's picked up the brushes again, but
it's like riding a bike.
Does that skill?
Yeah, but you do get into a flow where you're a lot more like. I find if I go back to paint, it's not as good after a month of painting. I get more. You just
I mean,
Takes a while
don't
to
you
feed
feel
it out.
rusty after 2 months of not painting at all? Imagine 20 years, you know?
I've not had a break.
Lionel's not impressed by. He needs 50 years, and then you'd be impressed.
I mean, what defines whether the model is good or not is not how long he has not been painting.
Yeah.
But even that aside, it's still a good piece. As
Yeah.
Tony was mentioning, you've got the sewer in front of the base where you see all the rats running through the pipes.
Classic McVeigh.
And then
vibes,
there's
yeah.
like a house kind of piece of scenery behind the model. It's like a tavern or something with the signboard.
There was
beautiful
like
now.
zombies going out from
Out
from the
yeah.
windows, some arms from the tiles of the roof.
I
so
think that category-
it's full of small details.
He's
that
always loved that.
It's almost a diorama himself.
Yeah.
I think single AOS is the one with the most number of pieces worthy of a trophy. Because I was counting them up and there were like, I don't know, 8 or 9 models which were all
Shit.
chapeau.
Yeah,
Seems like they give you 10 commended per category.
10.
Seems that way. I'm
They
only
were-
going off one category, and that's
There were a lot of nice AOS singles.
It'll be a percentage. So I think the first cut is 25% of the models. So it depends on
well,
how
the
many.
pins. Only 25% get a pin.
No, they cut the first 25%.
Got you.
So
75
75
get the
go
pin.
through. Yeah. So it's on the number of entries. So if there's less entries in there
They'll give
to
you
make
less
the
than-
first cut,
Right.
will
Yeah.
be
But
less.
I didn't count them, but for example, I think in the Lord of the Rings in Middle Earth, it was almost half of them commended or with a pin, or maybe not.
Well, if there's
It was a lot
75%
of
get a
them.
pin.
I would say so.
75 can
So
get a
get
pin.
and then I guess 25 get commended.
Okay.
I suppose commended will be relative to the quality in there as well, won't it? Like
Yeah.
they're not forced to give
No.
commended, and if
No,
they
yeah,
don't
exactly.
think that it's yeah.
What
The
else was there?
The other piece that stood out for me was the Tau bust. That beast.
Yeah, that was so much bigger than I envisioned.
It's a big old bust, isn't it?
Because I thought that it would be like 110 or something, and it's like 1.4 or
Yeah,
something, 1.5.
It's from
It's a big
another
one.
person, as they tell me that he didn't. He's not a painter.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a
It's a sculptor
sculptor.
at Games Workshop. It's Tom Hughes, his name.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
so he painted it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like maybe.
No, it's really
not-
well done.
Games Workshop need to make that. If they've got sculptors who can produce that, well, why the fuck are they not producing those models and releasing
This is
it?
the great question
It's
for a
their
lot of
IP.
fighters.
They're
I
probably
really
like,
want
what are they doing? Just
an
make this.
original line of boost or 75 models from Games Workshop.
Oh,
Take my money,
man.
please.
Honestly, the community would go absolutely nuts if
But-
it was done well.
Our community, not the gaming community.
Agreed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but,
that's the point.
Forge World used to do it. The models were, you could question if they were good or not.
But if they release a new Space Marine Lieutenant, how many units do they ship?
No, I know,
in
but
comparison
they earn
to-
enough profit now to just go away and lose 50 grand.
I saw
just for
people
the fans.
taking the commemorative Lieutenant Space Marine that was there on the Warhammer wall, and people grabbing 3x3 of them.
Yeah, I know
I'm
someone.
thinking it's another Space Marine with a sword.
Yeah.
Nah, but its resale value is nuts. Like they'll go for 75 quid on eBay.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's just like money for old rope. But like going back to the right, make those busts, produce 400 of them, 500 of them, 150 quid each, limited edition. They'll never make them again. They'll make 100 grand profit. They've already got the fucking bust. I know. I'm just saying they've got the capability to do it. They could easily make it a spin to make money off those things.
They would. Because they are licensing this kind of stuff anyway to all these big models that they're selling with Space Marines and Orcs, and there's a few of them.
Yeah.
But they're still like very Muddleman kind of,
They've got, like,
articulate toys.
They release also like a sideshow collective.
They used to.
One of Raul
Actually, the
Torre.
Space Marine that I gave to Arnau,
Exactly.
that's one of them.
No, but Raul Torre did a Gilliman.
Oh, yeah.
A Gilliman
You're right.
fighting against Chaos Space Marines or something
In
like that.
Japan, it was out or something.
Yeah,
it's
something
hard
like
to
that.
find here. Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Raul
it was,
did
but-
that, did he?
Yeah.
With the corn bloke chasing him up the stairs.
No. Different piece.
Do you know the one I'm talking about? There's a massive one. It was like this big, and it had the Gilly man and
The Gilly.
I don't know. What
Yeah, this is what I'm talking
It
about.
was, yeah.
Yes,
And the corn guy was running up the stairs with an axe. Going,
Yeah, I think
it's not
it's
a
this
core
one.
guy, but yeah.
Exactly, it's a.
Oh, he's a berserker, whatever.
No, it's not a
He's
berserker,
fucking
but-
chaos. They're all so rubbish, aren't they?
Yeah, sure.
But
no one is doing Elder big figures.
Yeah, because people
for some
Did you
reason.
see any? Back to Golden Demon? Did you see any entries that you liked, like Elder related?
Yeah, there was one Azurman I saw that was pretty good.
In the small scale category, there were a couple of Elder spaceships.
I haven't seen.
That I thought were pretty neat.
I didn't see a single Elder in because Alana and I haven't seen anything.
We saw one in vehicle. We saw, is it Herod?
Oh yeah, Heredity.
Heredity. Who does the?
You know the guy I talked to who does the crazy. He uses sponges.
Is it Beltan? He tends to use Beltan.
Herundon.
Hendarion.
Hendarion.
Yeah, you're right. He entered a few categories.
Yeah.
I think Arnau's entry is obviously another of the standouts. The diorama, like Space Marines against Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah. Do you think you've got a chance
Of what?
of winning
What?
bronze?
I think I have a chance of placing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Surprised.
sad if I didn't,
Mm-hmm.
I hope I have something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a beautiful diorama.
It's very
Yes.
nice.
The lighting effects on the guy who's shooting the other one. It's just well wrapped as well, because it's not a too big base. It's just the perfect size. But nicely painted.
But as I was saying to you as well, what's so nice about it is it's so understated. It's so
subtle, isn't it? Right? It's not too.
A lot of people would have. We discussed this. Would have put fire effects. Would have probably the lens flare would have been a lot brighter. It's so subtle and modest in its approach.
Yeah.
That it doesn't assault you. You have to look carefully too.
When you get it in hand, it's like. It's like a freeze frame from a film. Like because when you spin it around, there's always, which is cool. I like it. It's got a really nice. If you put like grapes and you squish them, feeling. It has a nice feeling.
And I think it fits perfectly the effect of the brightness with the kind of contest. Because if you go to another contest, for me it's the first time I have been in a Golden Demon, and I know where I'm coming and what I'm going to see almost all of it, because I have been in another kind of contest, like the World Model Expo this year or the model challenge. And there you see more of this kind of very heavy OSL and brights and effects. People play a lot more with lights and all of that. And here is like, you didn't see many effects of this kind.
It's because
it's all
kind
more
of
controlled.
Toned down.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that generally it's not perceived that well. Golden Demon judges, like... They like edge highlighting. They like super solid colours. I think it's
one thing that happens with this style that people when say they don't like true metallic, they don't like OSL, and it's like no, you don't like bad OSL.
Yeah.
You don't like bad true no metallic.
You have to see the Slayer from Victoria Lamb that is one of the first OSL and still being one of the best one and classics. Instead of the Witch Hunters.
Lance no metallic as well. You like Lance no metallic, right?
Exactly.
You like
the Nagash that wins the sword, I'm sure that was full non-metallic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's what you say. If you do it correctly and well done, whenever is going to judge and is a painter, is going to know that deserves something.
Yeah, I agree.
Beautiful.
In the same way, Albert's, of course.
Good old Albert.
Yeah.
Got two in there, haven't you?
How can you paint all of that in such a small pieces?
They're pretty small.
Crazy.
I think I heard someone saying, blah 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 blah. Have you seen Albert? Blah blah. And they were like, I don't fucking understand it. Honestly, they were just talking about themselves. He goes, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like it just doesn't. It just and then you just went. That was it.
I still haven't seen because we hung around, but it's been out in judging for a long time. They've had yours out the cabinet.
For a while.
About 2 hours.
For a long time.
So,
but I don't know why it was. Maybe they forgot it on the table or something. I don't know. I don't know where it was, but it was away for a while.
It must have been photos as well.
As a result, I haven't seen it other than Instagram photos, but I really need to see it.
Tomorrow after the show.
Yeah.
Maybe they break some part and they try to fix it.
And they go, why did the sticker put a yellow sticker on it?
He did put a yellow.
Yeah, why did he?
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't make sense.
The whole idea
was pretty nice. And also the 40k entry, the small Gretchen, full converted with a lot of
Well, that was
pieces.
the one that I believe we were talking about.
That's the one I want to see.
Yeah.
So the whole idea behind it was to have the same character as the Night Goblin Shaman that they entered in AOS.
40 years.
And have it like the Descendant in 40,000 years later. Same kind of style, same, but just the sci-fi Gorka Morka kind of version.
It's cool. I really like Gold.
So this was the concept behind it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in 2.5 months, I really couldn't do anything larger than that.
At that level.
Yeah, exactly.
At that level,
properly finished, exactly.
Because we know what happens with the big scale. 18 months. Yeah. Imagine doing one that big for Golden Demon.
You have to paint one of the behemoths, the big giant, like the one of the duel.
I would just
at your style.
It
will be mind blowing.
Too long. How do you think you've done? Possibly.
I don't know. I'm hoping that at least in one of the 2 categories, I'm
How
hoping
fucking
that.
sweet will it be to get a Golden Demon? Obviously.
I mean, then again, I don't know because there was lots of stuff. I think fantasy will be more difficult than 40k. I mean, there were very many good candidates contenders in both categories, but I don't know. The feeling that I have is that fantasy, maybe there were even a bit more. There were a bit more, strong candidates for the demons than 40k. Even if in 40k there was Maxime Penot, of course, there was Neil Hollis, I think he did like this Space Marine with the cathedral wall behind it.
Yes,
very nicely
that
painted.
was the Dark Angel.
More
one.
classic heavy metal style, but it was properly done.
Yes.
There were also a number of very nice 40k pieces as well.
So in other words, competitive, whatever happens. You wouldn't be surprised if you didn't, and you'd be nice to win as well. Like.
Yeah, of course. I mean, At the end of the day, I painted this model for myself. I just didn't want to come to Golden Demon empty-handed, so I prepared something for it, and I'm hoping that I place. But whatever happens, and I'll be happy with it anyway.
I also hope you do.
Appreciate.
I'll live through you, my joys. Yes, we did it, Albert.
And Tony, he entered a number of entries as well. Belacor, Teclis, some good pieces as well.
Your vehicle in the cabinet looks good.
Yeah, at the end,
it does look good.
That was painted like 4 or 5 years ago, and I just bring it because it's a really funny model and I love it. The Nurgle with the mow, I don't know how it's called, a cessped in English.
The mower, the lawnmower.
The lawnmower, exactly. And then I bring the Teclis, the one with the Selenar and all of that. And
I've seen it in real life. I've not seen
I was a little bit pissed off, no, but angry, no. Disappointed because they put both of the models just on the side of the light, and is the light just going?
Yeah, I mean lighting was not good at all. Those cabinets were rented.
Belacor, you cannot see anything of Belacor. You just see
either because sometimes
one
if you're on the very first row, right next to the glass, like the lights are behind the model, so it's like almost like they're lit from behind.
The one that is
strong
in the
shadows.
Top, we haven't seen it enough.
It's too blue as well. The light. It's maybe I don't know.
Anyway,
7,000 Kelvin or something. It's very wide.
I will break a spear here because you go to another competitions and sometimes not only the light, if not the models. One behind the other.
No, I must say.
This is better.
Definitely, it's much better.
You're completely right. The cabinets are like the organization and everything is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Really
how fast you go to leave the pieces, how everything.
It's great. It's great.
Perfect.
My only comment was strictly in relation to lighting, not the way they are displayed. They are fantastic, and you can see them comfortably. They are well protected under the glass and so on. So.
Yes.
It's probably the only contest I've ever seen the entire amount of pieces,
exactly,
quietly and calmly, and you could take time to see everything. And in scale model challenge, that's
free for
it's crazy. And there is a point that there are too many entries and there are all very close.
They squish them. It's hilarious.
There's no risk here that they can break models because they're too close to each other. There's no because there were shelves that were empty. The top one was empty.
They did that deliberately. Yes. They absolutely must have because they've added a lot. They've almost doubled the cabinets.
We were saying this earlier in our recording that there's a definite intention by Games Workshop to up their game, to raise this again. I think particularly now that they've taken over Crystal Brush in the US, I think they're looking to push Golden Demon as a brand
as the
globally.
I'm happy that they're doing because it was such a pity that they ignored it for a while, right?
Yeah,
it's a legendary competition at the end of the day.
You can tell from the branding, the quality of the cabinets and whatnot that there is definitely that intention. And what I've noticed, or you will have noticed as well, is the models are being taken away to a
secret place you can't watch them.
An undisclosed room where they're being judged, and we don't know what lighting they've got there. But although the lighting is affecting us as viewers, it's not going to affect the judging. They've obviously got
exactly
a well lit room.
Precisely.
Whereas sometimes in the old days, you'd see the table in the middle of the game.
That's how they used to do.
You could see them judging. And
I've got a feeling the photos of them.
Yeah, so the fact that these models are now being thrown away to a different secret
it's
room,
very
you can't see what's
exclusive
happening.
and more professional.
I get a little bit disappointed just because I'm really sure that I'm not going to get anything, but at last I want to show my models properly to the people that is coming there. Because at the end you always see a lot of models by Instagram, by WhatsApp or whatever, and when you have the chance to watch all that figures and models in person, you want to watch it as good as you can. I know that there are always limitations, and just are these two cases of mine, but overall I have seen almost all the models pretty good. I mean, and it was Arnau saying, and just relax it, you taking your time, watching everything.
The queue system was actually annoyingly good. Even though I didn't like that you had to queue, the concept's good, because it meant you literally, it wasn't like people were jumping around, they were waiting if they'd seen it so they'd move. In Golden Demon in Warhammer Fest, it was like you'd go and then some bloke would just come in and put his bag in your face or something, and then like you'd have to squish along. Like the queue, it's a little bit slower, but you can take your time looking. You don't feel rushed.
It was a moment when there was a lot of people doing the queue, and one of the Warhammer staff guys comes and say, you don't have to make a queue. You can move to the side and go to the other corner. So it was like you don't have
everyone still would just
exactly.
So it wasn't it wasn't a Games Workshop thing then. It just happened that everybody
happened.
And before wrapping up, I think we should mention obviously Lionel's entry as well. Beautiful, beautiful.
Always good. It's a level up.
It's a level up for sure.
I think thanks. No, it's a piece obviously I've put a lot more heart into after World Expo. I knew I had to apply myself, but as a result, I was saying to you, I'm not enjoying the competition as much.
Because you're too nervous.
Because I used to shoot for a finalist pin, and then you see your green sticker within 2 hours, you think that's me done, I can enjoy it. Whereas because I put more effort into it and you put more heart and soul into it, you then...
I'll tell you what's also unlucky, not to give you hopes or anything, but like, I didn't think there were that many standout models in the vehicles.
I agree.
There was not. There weren't too many models.
Other than Soapers, which was obviously like
quality. I looked around and I was really struggling to be like, right, that will probably get second or third or fourth. I couldn't actually pick. There were probably, I think, 5 that I think were on a similar level. And yours was in there.
I agree.
But that gives you more hope. I don't really want to give you hope, but I'm just saying.
No, it's not about. And like, obviously, I've got to realise that whatever happens, you've just got to take it on the chin and go. But it's part of putting more of yourself into that model. You leave yourself more exposed, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. You can play.
You're gaping, mate.
And
at the end of the day, at Golden Demon, there's always really good models that end up priceless. You know. So it can happen to all of us. At the end.
You can play it safe and then go.
Like I did. Are you having a little dig at Jay there?
No. It falls off the back of the cast we did after the disappointment cast, where it's like, you know what, I either don't bother, or I go for it, and that's what I've done this time.
The thing is, it's commendable, and you learn a lot more from it. If that makes sense, because by pushing yourself from having something to motivate you get better, don't you?
I think it's the best part of all this kind of contest. All that you bring with you, all that you see, that you absorb, what a nice idea, or how the way they paint this model and all of that, and you have to get all that motivation. And of course, what we're saying, if you are sad or disgusted with yourself because you think you can do it better, at the end it's something normal. We come here to a contest. It's not an exhibition. So at the end, I want to win something. But if I don't win anything, I'm not going to kill myself. I mean, okay, I'm sure that I can improve, and I will try to do it better next year. And that's the point that you have to take with you, I think. It's the most safe way to do it.
It's the best way. But what we'll do is we'll cut to when Lionel doesn't win anything and he doesn't win a pin, and he'll be swearing and so there'll be that motivate, and then it'll be like, I was fucking shit, Golden Demon was rubbish. I completely agree. And next year hopefully I'll enter.
You've entered this year.
I have entered, and I've got my personal best of a photo, which I'm genuinely dead chuffed about. I'd love that to be featured online somewhere. The fact that it's not it's like a 20-year-old release.
I actually think now, as a feature, we need to take that piece to famous landmarks around.
Yeah,
just take photos.
Just have it there. Yeah.
Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, and he's just there. Put him like holding a hand or something.
Arabic husband.
It's a beautiful model. Right, thank you for entertaining my roundup of the day, all of you.
Thanks to you.
Thanks for the nice chat.
It wasn't just me though. Lionel also, he was too scared to ask, but he told me to ask you. Just
thank you.
Always.
You're welcome.
Always happy to partake.
Right, let's go get shit faced.
That's how you will end.